Hey guys, welcome in. It's that time, 30 books in 30 weeks. And this week we are talking about a course in weight loss. And I really I titled this video, Maximize Your Spiritual Eyes, right? And so I want to talk to you all about the difference between using your physical eyes and using your spiritual eyes. So as you guys come in, feel free to share this video out, invite some other people to join in. That's awesome. For those of you who may be coming in for the very first time, you're not familiar with me, you're not familiar with what I do. My name is Marcy Batiste. I'm a public speaker, I'm an author, and I am a reality-based success and recovery trainer. My whole passion, everything that fills my cup, involves helping other women shine. Truly walking them through the process of transformation so they can not only discover what I call their star power, but fully embrace that star power. For those of you who know me for a while, you know I'm sold out to my happiness. That's the other thing that you should know about me. And that I always live life on Mars. It's my world, my life, my rules. That's the same philosophies that I teach to my clients and encourage them to embrace as well. And so 30 books in 30 weeks is a mission I started last November to encourage myself and hold myself accountable for my personal development reading. And so in 2018, I was like, I just want to really raise the bar on this. That was my theme for this year. It was to raise the bar for myself, for my clients, and for basically everything that I do. I wanted to take it up. I wanted to up level it, right? Raise the bar. So I said, well, let's take a look and let's do this for the next 30 weeks. Let's find 30 impactful books that were game changers for me and that have been game changers. The philosophies and the strategies and the techniques in them were game changers for also my clients and me building my business, etc. So that's how 30 books in 30 weeks came about. And right now we are in week 9. I think week 9. I'm all over the place. I'm losing track. But we're, 60 days into this year, and we are talking about a course in weight loss. That's the theme for this week. That's the book for this week. And what I want to talk tonight about is seeing things through your physical eyes versus your spiritual eyes. So oftentimes many of us look at our physical eyes, and through our physical eyes, we see the material world, right? We see the world around us. When we look in the mirror, we see our material physical self. We're not seeing the spiritual self, right? And versus your spiritual self, the real you, the spiritual you, has nothing to do with a body. There is no body. There is no such thing as thin or fat for the real you, for the spiritual you. And so I challenge people, particularly if you're on a journey for weight loss, you have to stop seeing everything with the physical eye, because the physical eye, you're forcing yourself or battling with yourself to see something. Hey, Annie, to see something beyond the physical. So you're looking in the mirror and you're like, I don't see any change. I don't see any change. And it becomes very discouraging. But when you learn to start looking at yourself, the people around you, and the world around you through your spiritual eye, you get to see beyond appearances. It's no longer about what you physically see in the mirror. It's no longer about what you physically see in other people, or that what other people physically see in you. So let me give you an example. Have you ever met someone and you've just been like, oh yeah, they're really nice, but she's not that attractive, or he's not that attractive. Or on the flip side, you're like, oh my God, like, they're so attractive. She's gorgeous, he's fine, whatever. But then you have a conversation with them. Then you begin to invest some time with them. And you start to get to know them a little bit better. And then you suddenly discover, I thought she was beautiful, but she got an ugly attitude. She has a negative perspective on life. You start seeing them differently once you get to know them. You might look at a guy and think, man, he's not my type, friend zone, right? But then you guys start hanging out, becomes one of your good buddies, you get to know them, you stop looking at that individual with your physical eye and you begin looking at them with your spiritual eye or with your heart, right? And once you get to know their heart, all of a sudden they look different. That guy that you friend zoned because you wasn't attracted to, now all of a sudden looks completely different to you because you're no longer looking at him from a physical standpoint. You're looking at him from a spiritual and emotional standpoint. And so as you're trying to manage a weight loss journey, that's one of the key principles that you really have to grasp, is that you don't get hung up on the number on the scale. That's not a reflection of who you are. Remember, the real you is a spiritual you. The body is merely a vessel to contain the energy and the soul that you possess. Your soul and your spirit is who you really are. And that's what people need to get to see. But oftentimes we allow the weight to hold us back. We allow the weight to become a barrier to letting people see the spiritual us, to see the real us, to see what's kind of behind the weight. And oftentimes morbidly obese people become very reclusive. People look at them and they look at them from a physical standpoint with the physical eye and say, oh, let's make judgments that they're lazy. Let's make judgments that they eat way too much. Let's make all these judgments based on the physical without ever taking the time to explore the spiritual. And so when you're struggling with your own weight loss journey and you're beginning to tackle the process of changing your nutrition, changing your exercise habits, changing your lifestyle, you have to stop looking at the world from a physical eye. You have to look at it with a spiritual eye. You have to learn to maximize that spiritual eye, because that's what you need to change. You can change the physical all day long, but if you don't change what's up here and what's in here, the physical doesn't matter. You're never going to feel attractive if you haven't done the work up here. You're never going to feel beautiful. You're never going to feel special. You're never going to feel love. Fear, anger, hatred, resentment, those things are heavy, right? If you want to become lighter, you want to physically lose weight, release weight, you have to stop operating in a space of fear, because that's something that's heavy. You have to operate in a space of love. And the only way to do that is to look beyond the physical and look to your spiritual self and get in connection with that spiritual self. Everything that you do that is based in fear, whether it's your energy, your fearful energy, you've got fear of relationships, or you're in a relationships that causes you to be fearful, anything that feeds and fosters fear in you, relationships, energy, connections, jobs, whatever it is, goals, your perspective. We've talked a lot about attitude and your relationship with reality. If you're living fear-based, fear will feed compulsion. And the video that I shared last night was about addiction versus compulsion. Compulsion is what causes you to overeat. The overeating is what causes you to gain weight. Lack of exercise causes you to gain weight. Compulsion causes you to sit on the couch instead of getting up and doing things. You have to stop operating out of fear. And the only way to do that is to start viewing the world through your spiritual eyes and not your physical eyes. So that's my message for tonight. I hope that helps someone. My inbox is open 24/7. Feel free if you have questions about your weight loss journey, if you have questions about coaching, or anything like that, just hit me up. I'd be happy to respond. If you just have questions, something you want me to address, just inbox me. I'm there. I'm here for you. I got you. And most of all, thanks for joining me on the video. Thanks for chiming in. And as always, most of all, thanks for living life on Mars, guys. We'll talk soon.